Lessons 1 to 5 from Arabic Simplified, a practical grammar of written Arabic in 200 lessons, with exercises, test papers and reading book, by Arthur T. Upson, Abdul Fadi al-Qahirani, read for the Arabic Language Learning Collection, Volume 1. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Abu Jalal. Arabic Simplified, a practical grammar of written Arabic in 200 lessons, by Arthur T. Upson. Lesson 1. ضرب. 1. What are these signs? They form the Arabic word he struck, which is pronounced ضرب, with the accent on the last syllable. The pronoun he is understood, not written in the Arabic verb. 2. How is this word built up? Of 3 different consonants and 1 vowel. The vowel corresponds to the letter A. Its sign is fatha and is written above its consonant, which it always follows in pronunciation. It here occurs 3 times. 3. What is the name of this vowel? Fatha, to be pronounced with a roughly aspirated ha, which we have indicated by a dot under it, and which is somewhat like HH or doubly strong H. It is also somewhat like a deep sigh. Be sure you do not run the t and h together, making th. Note, fat is the first syllable and ha the second. 4. What is the power of this fatha? It is like A in bad, and is one of the 3 short vowels. In some countries, it is a little heavier, like A in father. In India, more like U in cut. 5. How many consonants are there in this word? 3. Name, Lord, power, L. Name, Ra, power, R. Name, Ba, power, B. 6. What is the approximate sound of the Lord? It is like the D in hand and good, only it is stronger, and this we have indicated by a dot under the D. It is an aspirated D, a little like the TH in the, but more strongly pronounced by rolling the tongue against the palate. It is so hard that it affects the fatha after it, giving to it almost the sound of O or O. In India, it is a hard Z, as in Ramazan. 7. Do these 3 consonants always preserve the forms here given? No. Arabic letters change their form with their position in a word, because even printed books are, so to speak, in script character, and most of the letters joined and running on. Dad is always initial dad when it begins a word, that is, when it is an initial letter. Ra is always medial ra when it is within a word, that is, when it is a medial letter. Ba is always isolated ba when it is separated from others, that is, when it is an isolated letter. Note well, when ba at the end of a word can be joined to the previous letter, it takes the final form. The ra is of such a shape that it cannot even join the letter which follows it, so that letter does not have a special final form. 8. What is the order of the consonants in ضرب? ضاد, را, ba? Because Arabic, like other Semitic languages, is read from right to left. He struck, ضرب, ضرب. 9. Why have we put the first vowel in italic? To show that it has the accent, which is but very slight. 10. What are the dots used for? 1 over ضاد and 1 over ba. They are the distinguishing marks of these consonants, which cannot therefore be read without them. In Arabic letter writing, the scribe, when in haste, often obscures the shapes of the individual letters. These can, however, always be identified by means of the dots. Vowels are hardly ever written, except in the two books, Qur'án and Bible, but the dots are indispensable. There are no capitals in Arabic. Self-test, paper 1. 1. What is fatha? Where is it placed? 2. What is its power? Compare your written reply with the section in which the correct answer is to be found. Revise it, and if necessary, learn more thoroughly. Do not send exercises for correction except the replies to test papers, which we have marked to be returned for correction. So in all future lessons. Note well, students must vowel their exercises for the first year. Lesson 2. 1. If the verb form for he struck, ضرب, is ضرب, how can it be changed into she struck? By placing the letter t after it. He struck, ضرب, ضرب. He struck, ضرب. She struck, ضربت, ضربت. She struck, ضربت. 2. But why has the ba been shortened from isolated ba to initial ba? Because ba is isolated ba when isolated, and initial ba is ba in its initial form. The isolated and final forms are usually elongated ones. 3. What is the new sign, sukoon, over the ta'? It is the sukoon, and is very occasionally written sukoon. 4. What is the use of sukoon, pronounced sukoon, that is with the Italian u? It denotes the letter over which it is placed has no vowel and therefore closes that syllable. 2 sukoons on adjacent letters would not ordinarily be allowed to occur in Arabic. 5. What is this sign, kaf? Its name is kaf, and it represents our letter K, as in keep, but its initial form is initial kaf. 6. We have seen in item 2 above that the separate form for ba becomes initial ba as an initial letter. Can the isolated form for ta be shortened to initial ta as an initial? Yes, certainly, and several others act similarly. Thus, A. He wrote ketebe, ketebe. He wrote ketebe. B. She wrote ketebet, ketebet. She wrote ketebet. In B we have ta as a final and also as a medial. 7. The short connecting link which unites a medial form to its predecessor should be noticed. we may represent it thus: initial kaf, medial ta', medial ba', final ta'. 8. But are not medial ta' and ba' confusing? No, since ta' has 2 dots over it and ba' has 1 under it. 9. Is there any English word or name which will give us the pronunciation of kataba? Yes, take the word Canada. There is a slight stress upon the first syllable, but not enough to make it a long vowel. We do not say Canada, still less Canada, simply Canada. 10. Are other 3-letter verbs stressed in the same way? Yes. ضرب is pronounced like Canada. There is, however, one point about the fatha.